with Patrick Mouratoglou. So as everyone knows, he's one of the best tennis coaches in the world, and he's presently training 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams. And he's also training world number 6 Stefanos Tsitsipas and the upcoming star Coco Gauff. So thanks for being on our show, Patrick.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. So as we know, there's no tennis for almost 5 months now. Fans are craving for tennis. And thank you very much for coming up with a tournament like Ultimate Tennis Showdown, for giving fans like us an opportunity to see tennis. So speaking about your UTS, it has been a big hit so far. Everybody is enjoying it, all players there. And how did you come up with this innovative idea?
This idea I have for quite a while, because I think that tennis needs something new. And I'm going to explain why. It's not that I'm not saying that the ATP, the WTA, and the Grand Slams don't do a good job. I think they're doing a great job because they're satisfying their fan base, which is you, me, and probably all the fans that are watching and following your website. The traditional tennis fans like tennis the way it is. But tennis is struggling to bring new fans to tennis. We've been living on the fan base that has been created in the 70s and the 80s, and most of the tennis fans are between 50 and 70 years old, most of them. Not all of them, but the average age of the tennis fan is 61 years old, and it's getting older every year. So we have this problem now for a while, and we know that. And I think, and that's the idea of UTS, is to propose a different product, different from ATP and WTA, that is very complementary because it proposes a different way to showcase tennis, and in a way giving to people what ATP and WTA don't provide. Yes. So ATP and WTA matches are very long. You have to sit down for 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours when it's in the Grand Slam. The match is slow. There's a lot of breaks in between the points. There are not many things happening, but as we are tennis fans, it's enough for us because we enjoy the game for what it is. Now, for someone who's not a fan, there are a lot of things that are causing a problem for him to stay. And after a few seconds, he's gonna change channel or go or leave and do something else. We have a lot of competitors today. Our competitors are social medias, Netflix, the video games, the eSport, and all the sports possible. So there is a lot of competition, and the attention span of someone today compared to 10 years ago has reduced a lot. We can't propose extremely long matches for young people and to bring those new fans on board. So the whole idea about UTS is to condensate the tennis match in an hour. So it's very intense. A lot of things are happening. You don't have the chance to get bored. It's fast, it's short. There's a lot of emotion, and we bring an immersive experience. When you watch tennis, you're outside and you watch from far, and you don't know much except what you see, which is 2 guys hitting a tennis ball. Now, when you watch UTS, the camera's close, you feel like you're next to the player. There are interactions with the player because at every changeover, the commentators are talking to him, asking him questions about how he feels at that moment. So we're getting the feedback from the player during the match. And we also see the interaction between the player and the coach during the match. So we also have that technical dimension, which is also very interesting. So it's much more immersive, much more dynamic, and much shorter. So I think it works better for the younger generation they don't consume video the same as we were doing 20 years ago.
Yes, of course, you made a beautiful point of making the sport more dynamic, more entertaining, and condensing the long tennis matches. So do you think the ATP, the WTA, and the Grand Slams, all the tennis bodies will be accepting your idea in the near future? Will they be implementing the same your ideology in the regular tournaments which take place?
Well, I don't think they should. I think the ATP, the WTA, the Grand Slams, they are the history of our sport, and they have to keep doing what they're doing. First, because the core tennis fans are very conservative and they like tennis the way it is, so there is no reason to change it. And I think for the ATP and the WTA to have the UTS with them is a big asset. Because if the ATP and the WTA try to get new fans on board, and for that they will not have to make quite deep changes into the format of tennis, all the core tennis fans, who are millions of people around the planet, will be extremely unhappy because they don't want change.
Yes, of course.
So the best plan is to keep the ATP, the WTA, the Grand Slams the same way, don't change anything, and have a second league called UTS, which can work together with the ATP and WTA, or be even under the umbrella of the ATP and the WTA. I don't mind. I don't do that to go against them. I'm doing UTS again to bring new fans on board, and this league is set to bring those new fans, something much more modern and targeting a different audience. And I think if those two are able to work together for the future of tennis, that would be the best. And that's my goal.
Yes, I completely agree with you, like having a different tennis league and not changing the traditional tennis. So on the same point, like with Ultimate Tennis Showdown, you have a long-term plan, a concrete plan, and you want a different league in tennis. So that is what you have decided. On the other hand, if you see our tennis calendar, it's fully jam-packed from January to November. It's fully occupied. Players do not get the time for vacation, not even just the month of December where they have to train for the next season. So where will you fit this tournament? Like which part of the year will this tournament take place?
Okay, so first of all, you don't know, and I don't know what the calendar is going to look like in the future. With what happened lately with the COVID-19 and all the consequences for the events, but also for the economy of the sport and our sport in particular, we'll see what the calendar is going to look like. So it's very difficult to anticipate that. Second, UTS has a big advantage. We play only on weekends. So I think it can fit extremely easily into the ATP or WTA calendar, with having the weekend before the tournaments UTS, and then we can be on site. For example, you have a tournament of Madrid, we can be on the Saturday and the Sunday in Madrid. UTS can take place on the weekend. Players will play 1 hour Saturday, 1 hour Sunday, and Monday they will start the regular ATP and WTA event. And then the week after is going to be the same, but in Rome. And then the week after is going to be the same in Paris. So we can do that all year long. It's not a problem. It's just the real question is, will the ATP and WTA want to embrace that project and think it's as good as I think it is for tennis, and we find a way to make it work? But I definitely think we can make it work. If we really want it, we can make it work.
Okay, so what I infer from your words is you wanted all 52 weeks of the year, you want the tournament to go on, and you want the surfaces to change according to what the season is.
Yeah, we can follow completely the ATP and the WTA calendar. So
okay, completely like that. Okay, get your point. So right now, you're really busy. It's very entertaining tennis in France right now. So we know that Benoit Paire is playing, Dustin Brown is playing. So do you think will this format, this kind of tournament will be attracting other tennis players who do not really involve with much drama?
I think you just mentioned the two that are very special, but we also have David Goffin. I don't think he's into drama. Berrettini, I don't think he's into drama. Feliciano Lopez is not into drama. Yeah, you know what is interesting in everything is the diversity. When you watch a movie, you have a lot of different characters in the movie with different personalities. And what is interesting is how they react to the situations. It's the same in sport. You need different personalities. We don't want only Nick Kyrgios. It's great to have a Nick Kyrgios, but you also have to have a David Goffin. Otherwise, if you have only Nick Kyrgios, you lose control. No, but you need different personalities. So that's completely the idea. And whether it's I could have also mentioned Richard Gasquet, who is a very calm personality.
Okay.
I think there are different types of players, but definitely I encourage the players to share their emotion as much as possible with the crowd, because that's what's interesting. UTS is telling stories. It's not only a tennis match, it's a story. And we get to know much about the stories throughout what the players are giving.
Mhm. So as you mentioned, all the players, you also have world number 3 Dominique Thiem out there in your academy who's hitting some balls. So he's the highest ranked tennis player right now in UTS. So did you approach other top 10 players, Nadal, Federer, Djokovic, Medvedev, for your tournament? Did you approach them for this year's tournament?
Yeah. I approached a few others. To be
Mm-hmm.
telling you the truth,
Mm-hmm.
none of them have refused. Zero.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
A few said that they were not ready to play
Mm-hmm.
because of the confinement. They couldn't.
Yes.
They have not been able to practice, so they felt like they were unable to play matches that early. But all of them said, why not UTS 2, which will take place right after UTS 1,
Yes.
or UTS 3 when we feel ready. I
Yes.
think the format is, I mean, they really like it. And especially the
Mm-hmm.
ones who have played, because they've experienced it, they really have enjoyed a lot. And you know how players talk to each other. So now they all know that the format is really fun to play, really intense, really challenging. And that's what they like because they're competitors.
Of course. So, in the middle of the pandemic, you are hosting a very successful tournament. So, did you face any challenges from the authorities, from the players, and other coaches for initiating the tournament this year?
No. I knew that it was very important to have an official authorization from the government,
Yes.
which we
Mm-hmm.
got. And of course, I wanted the government to set up the rules very clearly, that because I wanted everyone to follow them really well. I don't want
Yes.
the last thing I wanted is to have someone be at risk. And we followed everything, which is a lot of rules and it's very tough, but it's perfect because I feel, and I was speaking to again about that with a player this morning who was telling me we feel very safe here because everybody's wearing the mask. All the players have been tested, and the teams of the players have been tested every week. And we're extremely careful. There is this distance between the people. All the ball boys have gloves. They have masks. That they don't share the same balls. Every player has his own tennis balls. So we are extremely careful in everything, and so far everything's going really well.
So, yes, we can play tension free in your tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, talking about the extension of UTS, so when is the WTA version of UTS coming up? So, if it is coming up, do we see Serena and Coco in action?
I mean, when it will come up, the first two I'm going to ask is Serena and Coco. That's sure, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to come up, but I don't know yet exactly when. It's been extremely challenging to organize something that big in such a short period of time, especially for us, because that's not our normal job to organize that type of event that big. And if we would have also involved women, the organization will have to be doubled, and we would have taken a big risk to make major mistakes. So that's why we started only with men, but don't worry, very early we're going to have women also.
Okay, thank you very much. So now moving forward with the tennis tour, like it's going to soon start in the mid of August, and we are very happy. Like US Open will be taking place as per schedule, and moreover, home favorite and the six-time former champion Serena has announced that she will be playing. And we also know that you have been coaching her virtually during the suspension of the period. So how has it been going, and will she catch number 24 in New York this year?
Well, first of all, I don't have the crystal ball. I wish I would, but I don't. But of course, I believe she will. She's doing great. She's been resting a lot the first weeks. She needed rest anyway because her knee needed some rest. And then she started to rebuild her fitness. And the last 3-4 weeks, she's been practicing tennis. She was filming her practices, sending them to me, so we could talk about it. And I feel she's doing well. She's practicing hard, and for all those players who are top competitors, when they know why they practice for, and as soon as the announcement of the US Open taking place, Serena knew what she was practicing for. Suddenly the intensity goes to the highest level, so I'm sure she'll be ready.
Okay, that's nice to hear. So now speaking about another student of yours, world number 6, Stefanos Tsitsipas, he proved himself last year in London. Like, it was a phenomenal final, and he made his breakthrough there. And what about the Grand Slams? Does he have a good chance at US Open this year, since many players are in doubt? They are scared to travel. And will he make his breakthrough in the month of September this year?
I think he might make his breakthrough anytime. He's won, as you mentioned it, the ATP finals. He's reached also the semifinal of the Australian Open. He's beaten all the top players at least once. He's beaten Nadal on clay in Madrid. He's beaten Djokovic in a Masters 1000, and Roger in a Grand Slam. So he's not far, but on the other hand, winning a Grand Slam today with the 3 greatest players of all times is one of the most challenging in the tennis history.
Of course, yes.
You know, when he lost to Rafa in the semifinal of the Australian Open, he had beaten Roger, and to win the tournament, he would have had to beat Rafa in semis and then Novak in final. How challenging is that? It's incredible, but I'm sure he's going to make it at some point, because he really wants it deep inside himself, and he really has the potential to do it. So it's going to happen.
Of course. Okay, all the best to him and you.
Yeah.
And speaking about your personal career, we know that you have been training Baghdadis, and he was into the finals of Australian Open. And then later Serena, career slam, Anastasia, she was a top 20 player, and now Coco and Stefanos. So how do you look back at your career, and do you have some tips for the upcoming coaches?
To be honest, I never look back in my career. I look front all the time. I'm looking at the next challenges. I've been lucky to work with incredible players.
Yes.
Because you can be a good coach, but if you don't work with players who have the potential, I mean, you can do still a good job, but never win the big tournament.
Yes.
So I've been lucky. I'm still, because I'm working with Serena, who is the greatest of all times. I think we had a good fit with all the players I've worked with. Every time, I think it's very important to have a great fit with the player. Give everything for him or her, believe in your player more than anyone. You have to be the greatest supporter of your player, and think day and night about winning, because that's your job when you're a tennis coach. How are you going to make him win or her win more than ever before? And if you focus on that, and you have good common sense, and you're devoted, then you have a good chance to make a great job.
Yes, of course. Okay. Okay, Patrick, thank you very much for your time, and all the best for Ultimate Tennis Showdown. And we hope to see that every year. And we wish you luck, like your plan works out well.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. We are very happy to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Goodbye. See you, Patrick. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.